Hey, welcome to another episode of The Way I See It. My name is Chris, and each day, I come together with my ideas, the things that are going on in my life at the current moment, to try to display some sort of summary of what's going on and what I'm doing. So, if you haven't basically followed me before, I am a web developer who spent maybe like 8 to 9 years in working at professionally making money, writing and developing applications for the web, and the idea between this was being able to go from being just a web developer, making a paycheck every day, to being a influencer or entrepreneur, in where I will go ahead and think about the things that I feel that I could change on my own, and publicly go about it. So if you're interested in stuff like that, you can subscribe. If you're interested in building your business, you can tune in too, because I'm going to be showing and sharing information about how to do these things on your own, in a more of a, not in like a tutorial fashion, more like I'll be streaming me actually doing it. So for instance, I just finished purchasing the 2 domains that I'm going to be using for my websites. One of the ideas was using chrissamuel.dev. Dev is short for like developer, and it may be the domain I'm going to be using for this site, where I'll have both domains linked to the same site. And the other one is Yamanote.tech. Now, everybody doesn't really know what Yamanote is about, but it's a very it hits home with me, because being able to travel in Japan over the last few years was really inspiring, and once in a lifetime thing, more like 10 times in a lifetime. I was able to be able to speak another language and buy food and talk to people, and be around people who probably never been around a person like me before was exhilarating, was great. And I chose not to bring the work there like every day here, because I wanted to separate them. I wanted to feel like it was like Narnia, So if you go to my website and you see it's going to be Yamanote Tech and Society, I'm actually putting in Yamanote.tech, and that's what I'm going to be sticking with. And Yamanote is basically the name of the station of the train, that it's basically a loop that goes around Tokyo. Every place has a different departure melody, like a chime. And because Japan is so whenever they build with things, they're very calculated on how they do things. They make sure that everything is done to the T, and they're on time for everything. If a train says it's going to be there at 10:31, it is there at 10:31. 10:32, it is gone. So one thing I like about that is it gives you a sense of security in yourself, building your own business, that you can also have something like my podcast, Yamanote Tech and Society podcast, where it's going to be talking about building your business, building your brand in the public eye. No matter where anybody else is when they watch this, they'll be able to find some information that'll help them along their journey. Yamanote Tech podcast, I just finished picking out the coming soon landing page. I'm not quite done. I think I'm gonna add a few more things. Like I'm gonna add a timer. I'm gonna add like an email listing. You can basically a form that you can kind of submit your email, so I can set up people who also want to join in and listen to this. I also have guests. I have four people who actually are people who are just using the internet to, publish something. It's not about making millions of dollars. Just people who also think that the internet is cool, and being able to build your business online is something that we all have to try to figure out. What else I'm also doing? So I'll have the domain attached to the site. Probably by the time you get this video will have all that information up there. So that's going to be one of the things. Now the other thing is I'm going to probably be making 2 more other sites. That's going to be pretty much the same way, where it's going to be like a blog site that has like podcasts and a little bit about me and my business aspect, and to help people understand what I'm actually looking to do. And I'm also probably going to have, the other site was probably going to be with Magic the Gathering, meaning that Magic the Gathering is this tabletop player trading card game that's also online now, that allows you to, basically you play against another person with cards. Let's see if I can bring it up real quick. So, these are some of the cards that are basically on here. If you go ahead and you see, each of the cards are very distinguished, and there's, whoops, I'm trying to get the light away from it. Yeah, there we go. So one thing about these cards is that it's a puzzle, and you have to be able to figure out how to beat your opponent from 20 life to 0, or sometimes removing all their cards from their library, which is the original deck that they actually have. And it takes a lot of practice, a lot of strategy, and I love that. It has the nuance of it is very similar to programming, and working on programming every single day, you have to kind of move around sets of instructions that are basically given to you to make sure that an application does this or does that. For instance, in Magic the Gathering, there's a concept called the stack, whereas when each player has cards that they can cast from their hand onto the battlefield, and if you cast a card and somebody else casts a card in response to the card you cast, it puts it into this stack formation, meaning that think of the stack being like a pipe, that basically the first thing that goes in, the first thing that was cast comes out first, unless the person is casting something in response to that. That means that now that person's spell will go first. So you have to pay attention to how your spells are cast and how you're going to affect the game in a very programmatic manner. And I love being able to explain how this game works, because it's very similar to programming. And I have a YouTube channel I have in mind where I'm going to probably start with just a couple of videos to kind of flesh out what I'm actually trying to do. But eventually there'll be another website where I just talk about, hey, you can build this, you can make a website for teaching people how to play Magic by using programming. And hopefully with that mindset, I want people to be able to learn how to code or learn how to play Magic by learning one concept. And that concept is going to be just understanding how something works. And it's exciting because I'm not very happy with the way some of the technology is explained these days. People do a very good job trying, but I feel like sometimes that because it takes a lot of work to get your idea out of your head, that trying to get people to say things or keeping something that is somewhat timeless, meaning that if you post a video today about learning about concept A, 20 years from now, it should hold some relevance to it, where somebody should understand something from it. And that's something that kind of constantly changes. So you have a lot of ideas for that. So yeah, so that's gonna be the end of this video. If you like basically this video, please subscribe. If not, you can check out yamanote.tech, and that's YAMANOTE.tech. ANOTE.tech. And it's going to be just basically, a landing page with a picture on it of a train, Yamanote train. And I'm going to have some countdown in it later on as I put things up there. Right now, I just have the links, and it's exciting. And so I'll talk to you guys later. Take care. Ja.